Good morning from sacred space at Titania's realm. Here we are again, another day in paradise. It's 9:24 a.m. on the 30th of April 2024, and it's a glorious sunny morning, and I'm up rather early. I woke up at 6 a.m., which is an anomaly, and I actually got out of bed around about 7, which is also an anomaly. And I've been very unwell, actually. Not from the moshing on Saturday night, although that probably didn't help. But I do it willingly and joyously. And as I said in my video yesterday, I don't like the idea of being curtailed from my usual joyful activities. But I understand that my friend worries about my safety out of a deep love and affection towards me, no doubt. Well, he's always been friendly and affectionate to me, so I hope I'm not delusional about that friendship. That would be devastating to my mind. But anyway, no, but I was very ill yesterday, very, very ill, but it was gut related. And I had the most terrible pain in my liver bladder area, and even messaged my urologist, worrying about, I needed a new script because she only gave me two repeats for the bladder medication, so I was worried about running low on that. Oh shit, that reminds me, I haven't taken it this morning. So so anyway, it's all been a bit humbling living in this mortal body that's aging, and I just have to survive it somehow. Like everything else in my life, I have to survive and maybe thrive, which is what my moshing my neck off to zombie is emblematic of, am I right? My thriving in the face of, rapists, attempted murderers, slanderers, backstabbers, cheaters, liars, false lovers, false friends. Zombie is my war cry, and well, if I'm not allowed to mosh my neck off to it anymore in pubs and clubs, I'll be doing it at home. But you can't prevent me from dancing. I'll still dance, but I'll reserve my neck-breaking, wild shamanic mosh, which is partially spiritually innovated as well, and that's why these post-COVIDian, munted down, dulled down, weakened entities are so terrified of it. Probably complained about it, and that's why there was pressure put on me to stop it. So that's your reality. My reality is I'm a fierce, wild warrior goddess, Jewish shaman witch, and I will mosh when I want to mosh, when the spirit moves me. And if I die doing what I love, so be it. I haven't had a very nice life. If you've been watching my videos over the past few years and you had the slightest bit of cognition and empathy, you might have worked that out, that's partly why I am a little bit wild in my old age. I was always wild. I was wild as a child. It's how I survived my family of origin, maintaining that pristine wildness and that fierce spirit inside that said, dance, live joyously and triumphantly, and love without fear or compromise. And the fact that my love was made into something that should be feared by monsters is not actually my fault, people. It is, the men that came into my life that was savage. Well, everything has a reason. They tried to kill me. I won, as in I survived them all. And I am still dancing my dance, walking my walk and talking my talk. And there's only one way you will prevent me from doing that, and that is to outright kill me, which I'm well aware is probably on a few of your minds, given the current COVID epoch, post-COVID epoch that ain't quite over yet, babies. So, life is beautiful. We live in paradise, even though for me, most of my life it was a hellscape beyond the realms of mortal imagination. And we create the deep, deep, romantic, passionate, and even agape love from deep within our souls by our own free will and choice. And entities that seek to atrophy that and damage it and kill it and stymie it, that's on you, babies, not on me. I loved willingly and freely and wildly at times. Too much at times. I loved too much to the point where I was knocking on the gates of Valhalla, begging to be let in, and it is what it is. I'm grateful my beautiful friend Jared came to see me yesterday as I was very ill, and he took me out and we had a beautiful day together at Wynnum Beach, walking along. I couldn't do the long walk that Sliddy likes to do. So I said, you go and do your long walk and I'm just going to sit on the beach and enjoy the sea and the sand and the seagulls and be one with Mother Earth and Tangaroa, sea God rather, and just be with nature because it's very healing for me, very therapeutic. I love my wild dance to the wild music and the bands, but I also need very much to tune into nature as well as a healing modality for me. So I've had a beautiful weekend. Today's Tuesday, obviously, but I had a beautiful Saturday night with my favourite men in the band, dancing wildly, and I enjoyed myself very much. And then I had, although I was quite ill yesterday on Monday, I had a beautiful day with my friend Jared, who is, he loves me deeply. We are family, and I'm grateful for his love. Without him and my friend Lynn and my friend Sally Castle, and I probably wouldn't be alive today, quite frankly. That's how great and stubborn their love for me was and is. They stuck by me in darkest times of my life, so dark that I didn't actually want to be here. And that is the measure of a man and a woman, their ability to love the broken ones and buoy us up and lift us up and keep us precious and encourage us and motivate us for even darker times that we had not even imagined in our wildest nightmares. Am I right? But here we are. So on a happy and positive, uplifting note, because most of the time, in spite of my trauma issues, I do strive to be uplifting and positive. Even the housing inspector that came last week to look at my home commented how wonderful my home is, and I felt so grateful to have found a soulkin that appreciate me, other than the other bureaucratic fucking little Hitlers they used to send to me and deliberately poke the mama tea bear and cause me distress. So you see, for the sake of heaven, for the sake of one good soul, your whole day can be the difference between a paradise and a heaven on earth or a living fucking hell and a nightmare. So choose wisely how you treat people and how you respond to people and how you honour people. I know I'm squidgy and I'm unusual and I'm eccentric. I was built that way by the gods and by other vicious mortals for a reason. And this is my season in older age of reclaiming my joy, perhaps one day my prosperity, my peace, and finding out who my truest, deepest lover man is going to be, because I don't know who that person is yet. But meanwhile, I rejoice in my deep, soul-nourishing, loyal, loving friendships, because there are many, many forms of love, my darlings. Many forms of love. Now, I want to show you this. This is going to sound like an advertisement, and in a way, I guess it is. I want to actually show the beautiful artworks that my friend Jared Nielsen does. He generates them with AI, but he also does his own beautiful hand paintings, watercolors. He's a extremely talented artist, and I just want to promote him a little bit on my channel. Bear with me. I'm not asking you to buy anything. There's no pressure to buy anything, because I'm not a very good saleswoman. That's why I haven't sold my own fucking jewellery. I don't like pressuring people to buy. But I just want you to see the calibre of his work and the joy that it sparks in my soul. I've left 2 cards behind. I'll be back one moment. And I want to also he hasn't asked me to promote his artwork, but, I have an Instagram account, Titania's Realm, for my jewellery that's dedicated to Queen Titania of the Forest Fae. We do believe in fairy magic and, well, all kinds of magic really, but we both unconsciously, during the darkest times of the COVID epoch, started working with fairy magic, and unconsciously at the same time we both tapped into the fairies wanting to be recognised as protectors of our earth, as a race of beings that predated humanity, that have been on this earth, now obviously in another dimension, since time immemorial. And you get these verkachte, ignorant, I think quite evil Christians calling them demons. And look, there's light and dark in every race and culture on planet Earth. So I'm not going to lie to you and say all fairies are wonderful and love light and peace and sweet, because it's like anything. There's good and evil across the multiverses. Some might be evil and a bit demonic. But what I'm putting down here is that they predated human existence on this planet, perhaps even went underground to survive us. And so I want them brought to their former honour, that the ancient pagan peoples and the shamans recognise that there are more life forms on the planet than just us, and we need to live in harmony and deep respect for our earth, which is what the fairies represent, by the way, earth energies. So anyway, so my friend Jared Nielsen's Instagram or business for his artworks is called Selfie Sorcerer, and you can also find his work under the name All the Fae Things. So, but I just want to show you how bloody spectacular his work is. And I am a bit biased because he's my friend and my adopted brother of now 32 years. We've been friends. He made this for me of Charlie. And it's just delightful. Jared knows, of course, how much I love bling and flamboyance and ostentatiousness and drag even, although I'm not gay, but he knows how much I love vivacity and vivaciousness and art and creativity and bling and over the top. That's what my mosh represents too, a bit too. Over the top expressions of passion and wildness and energy, and well, they're afraid of it. They're afraid of me. They, whoever they are, whoever's leaning on people, they're afraid of my joy. Can you believe it? To be afraid of my joy. Well, that too is a post-COVIDian side effect everyone's been. And the weakening and the dumbing, not so much dumbing down, but dulling down of our senses, turning us into less than human, less than wild, free, audacious, courageous humans, watering us down, weakening us, changing permanently our genetics. So what will our children's children be like? I don't want us to be weakened and ill. It's why I spoke out against that regime from the very beginning. I want us to be wild and free and flamboyant and joyous, even though we've been altered slightly. I mean, I have too. I caught COVID in October. I want us to hold on to what is real, and what is the most real thing on earth: love, passion, romance, true romance, not fake lascivious slatherings like I used to get at the casino. It was revolting. But true, heartfelt, sincere, loyal, faithful, devoted love and art and creativity and music and dance and acting, all of that. I'm an artist. Of course, I'm passionate about these things. And here's my beautiful Jared's work. But can you see it? There she is in all her glory. That was an extra gift he gave to me, my darling. Thank you, Jared. I don't think he watches my videos because he has plenty of Tanya exposure with phone calls and visits, and I don't burden him with all my weirdness. Now, I also bought these. I actually bought them from him as a matter of principle because this is his art and his work, and I insisted on buying them. This was a gift he gifted to me. But these I actually bought from him. I insisted because I fell in love with these Asian fairies. Aren't they gorgeous? Just look how gorgeous they are. Absolutely gorgeous. And look at her, she's just sublime. And these I actually bought from my friend I wonder if I should say her name because it's meant to be a surprise. I don't think she watches my videos either though. So anyway, fuck it. I bought these for my friend Robin, who is a very humble and sweet and gentle person and never asks for anything. And, you know, I have trouble. I missed her birthday, actually, to be honest, because I'm a terrible fucking friend. And I gave her some heliconias for her new garden, her new home that she bought last year. And she said, I'm so grateful for the heliconia. I thought, but they're just things I dig out of my garden. It's like, it's no big fucking deal, really. I want to give her something lovely. Anyway, she admired, when she came to visit me, these cards so much. I said, and Jared had gifted me this card as a birthday card. She loved it so much. So I bought one for her, and that's for her to keep or for her to give away, is whatever she wants to do. And I also bought her this one. I wanted her to choose which one she liked best, but I didn't hear back. She's so humble. She probably thought, oh, I don't want to ask, you know. Well, anyway, so I had to make some executive decisions, and I just chose 3 cards for her that I thought she will love. So anyway, I'll give them to her next time I see her, and she'll get quite a surprise because she doesn't know that I had decided to buy some for her. And so these are mine. I collect cards, and I often end up using them in decoupage. And if you wonder what I mean by that, I'll quickly show you. I've probably showed you before, people of Earth, YouTube audience, but I'll put the light on so you can see. This is what I did with my dining table from my card collection and my mother's card collection. Many of them came from the Louvre when she went there in 1973. And this one I bought. How does that look upside down? That's weird. Huh. This one I bought in at the Renoir exhibition that came here about 15 years ago. And you know, some random ones, but there's some very old cards in amongst this. And I spent a lot of time working on this, and that is my pièce de résistance, and how I reused my card collection that had been actually lying around since the 1970s. So recycle, reuse, turn things into art is what I want to say about that. So, all right, here we go. We're 23 minutes in. But yeah, Selfie Sorcerer on Instagram, or yeah, if you're really keen and you can't find him on Instagram, just put a message and I'll send you his email address or something like that. But you can find his work. I think you can find his work on Instagram. Anyway, contact me if you want to buy any of those beautiful. He's got dozens of designs and they're just exquisite, each one. And he does t-shirts too. I'm going to buy a wonderful t-shirt for myself. He actually gifted me this purple t-shirt for my birthday last year, and I had designed this logo during COVID because it came to me spirit-led, as often my inspirations are. I was mulling about, you know, my great passion for both Judaism and the gods, mythology across all cultures, and the occult, and, you know, all the, yeah, my interest in fae and gods and demigods and, as I said, mythologies. And I woke up one morning and it came to me, this was during the height of the COVID insanity, which I believe was absolutely insane and evil and draconian. And you can believe however you like, but that's how I felt about it and still do. So it came to me, deify, I defy. In other words, be your own inner god and goddess. Cleave to your God, however you understand that, the God of your understanding. In my case, it's my Jewish Abrahamic God, who I struggle with sometimes, and he struggles with me because I'm rebellious and I'm defiant. And I did not have very good experiences here in Brisbane with my own Jewish community, attracting men that were rapists and attempted murderers. It's going to ruin your experience with organised religion for the rest of your life, am I right? So there is that. Not to say that Judaism is a bad religion or that I hate my own Jewish people, not at all. But it just got tainted by too many fucking assholes, and so I had to go within. The best and most powerful thing of all for any human, it's taught by the Greek philosophers, is to know thyself and to tap deep inside your soul. Oh, la brioute. To tap deep within your soul, to nurture your own inner god or goddess, and to find your own power, your own strength, and if necessary, when ill and weakened by whatever malfeasance has been cast upon you by external forces, in my case through strangulations, and in most of your cases by having been coerced to accept a poison into your body that was not good for you in the long run. You know what I'm speaking of. To grow yourself so that you no longer accept external coerced abuses on your body, mind and spirit, and indeed soul. If you damage your own body, mind, spirit and soul by your own will and your own choices, as I do in the profoundly powerful but vulnerable, fragile making mosh, then let it be by thine own will and your own choice. No one else is responsible for that when you do activities that are potentially self-harming, by the way. No one is responsible. I do not make anyone else responsible for that. And I just want to reinforce that. But we all have ways of self-immolating. I do it by falling in love with false men who don't have my back and are actually destructive and often murderous and rapey. I had a long, long history of that. And hopefully that evil, is long behind me now. As I said in another video on the 10th of April, it felt like it all left and just dissipated with Beauregard's death. And I don't know why my beautiful Beauregard was made to be some kind of fucking sacrifice, because I wanted him with me. That dog was one of the greatest loves of my life. So it was a deep, deep wounding to lose him in that way. Deep wounding indeed. Because animals and birds have loved me more than most human mortals. Sad, but fucking true. There's very few mortals that love me as much as my pets have been able to show me love. Very few mortals. I can count them on my hand. And some of them I have named, some of them I have not named, but they were rare and precious people, souls in my life. Don't know why my glasses have fogged up. It's a bit bloody inconvenient, isn't it? Right, here we go. My darlings. So, I continue on with today's readings of even date. Memories, 30th of April 2024. And I titled it, On the Cusp, the baby chicken found his voice, and Mama T exceeded her expectations, great and small, held in thrall. And I want to share this photo with you. It's a bit difficult because it doesn't, I can't get the full photo of my, what was that? Have we stopped video? No, okay. I can't get the full photo in my iPhone. But you see this little girl here, the look of thrall on her face, and all the men dancing behind her. That's kind of, that little girl. There's a photo of me, or there was a photo of me, dancing wildly like that, dressed pretty much the same, because it was the early 70s. I think I was 6 years old. And with the same look of joy and ecstasy on my face. That is how powerful the dance is to me, even as a child, and how I love to be surrounded by other revelers and the music and the bliss. That is my spirit. So to try and steal that out from me, even out of a benevolent wish to be protective, my darling, is just another way of kind of destroying and killing me. I know you don't understand it, but you haven't lived my life, so you can't understand it. You can hear my stories and you can see the joy and the pain and the enthrallment, but unless you've lived it, you don't really fully understand it, my darlings. That little girl is me, and I am her. And it's about the same time period, so which is probably about my age now, sitting behind her laptop going, yeah, baby, just keep dancing, little one. Just hold your line. Don't let anything come between you and the dance and your survival to thrival. Men will come and go as they have always done. Some might even love you a little bit. Some might love you a lot. But don't ever give up on your dance, your creativity, your joy, your power, and your zest for life. Don't let them kill you. Don't let them take what little bit you still can flare up from the embers of your soul into the most spectacular, blazing, joyful manifestation of your own heart and soul. Don't let them. And the quote on this photo, which is one of my favourites, and is from Friedrich Nietzsche. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. Think about it deeply, people of Earth. There's layers to that statement. It's not just about dancing and music. It's about oppression and gaslighting and fear-mongering and weakening of our will. And insanity is very much a fashion trope depending on what's going on in our zeitgeist at the time. The people that were locked away in asylums in Victorian times were locked away for such silly things as their petticoat was too much on show, or they lifted their skirt just that little bit too high. You know, they were deemed to be nymphomaniacs or sluts if they were real women and expressed their sexuality. So they were locked away in asylums by husbands and fathers and brothers. Just remember, insanity is a sliding scale depending on what's going on in the culture at the time. And there is genuine insanity as well, don't get me wrong. There are genuinely very serious mental illnesses, but the majority of it is actually overly medicated and overly controlled, and it's a form of abuse actually, systemic abuse. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and it's also been a long pharmaceutical experiment that killed many, almost killed me, but I'm still going, babies, because the gods decreed it, even when I myself no longer wished to be here. The gods decreed it. And why would that be? So I can keep cleaving to my truth and keep holding my line, and maybe, just maybe, save someone, one of you out there in YouTube world or the internet world, save you, show you what is yet possible, to not give in to despair and oppression and suppression and the depressions that come from that. Hold your head up high, live triumphantly in big and small ways according to your situation. I myself don't have money or a home of my own anymore since I was raped and robbed out of it by the state, by the way, including my former family members. But I live triumphantly even in my broken and broke state. I pay my way, I buy my drinks, and I dance my dance, and I perchance to enchant, and I owe nothing to anyone. I actually owe no explanations to anyone either. I live as freely as I possibly can given the insane society I'm living in now. So insane and greedy and lustful and vicious. They even want to charge you for your email capabilities. Dear old Optus, that used to have at least a bit of honour and integrity, to freshly strangled, traumatised women with their children. But now they just want to bleed and gut you like a pig. And that's my opinion. I'll stick to that. I am livid beyond belief, especially on a day yesterday when I was really unwell with my liver. Don't know what that was about. Must have had a bit of an inflammation. I whacked a bit of castor oil on it last night. Still a bit of an ache there, but I actually got a bit of a good sleep in last night and had a good rest, and the castor oil seemed to have, it didn't eradicate the pain completely, but it seemed to have calmed it somehow. Maybe it was a placebo effect, but I do feel a tiny bit better than I did yesterday. But life goes on, people. Claim it. It's yours, no matter what. Hold your line. 30th of April 2020, 10:33 a.m. I already read that. Well, I'll repeat it because I went on a tangent, didn't I, my darlings? 10:33 a.m. I feel like I'm on the cusp of something, some kind of breakthrough. No idea what it is. I pray to all the gods. That it is something good. 4 years ago, my darlings. My friend Brecky wrote, Mercury is close to a conjunction with Uranus, which can bring you a big surprise or a brilliant idea. And I replied, it did not or has not manifested yet, but it's interesting all the weird vibes I get lately. And I'm very sensitive to shifts in energy, and often I get sort of early kind of hints of things shifting in the zeitgeist or indeed in the cosmos. Sometimes I can be 3 or 4 months earlier feeling this change or shift in energy, and then it gets confirmed later on. And that's why I was feeling funny that day, or it's very, very potent, and it's hard to calibrate sometimes, because I think I'm going crazy sometimes, which is as I said, a horrific thought. I like my mind, as creative and weird as it is. But even my psychiatrist has observed, how I used to intuit Dave's approach. He'd say, you're gonna run into him soon. I said, how do you know? He said, you've been talking about him for the last month. And I went, oh, really? I hadn't been conscious that I was mentioning him, And then sure enough, he'd pop up and he says, you're always on cue, Tanya. It's astonishing. And I went, well, what can I do? It goes nowhere anyway. The guy's not interested in me. It's just some sick, sadistic game in his mind. But I said, my angels, my gods, protect me by telling me when it's about to, the demon-ridden creature, is about to pop up like a jack-in-the-box out of a shit show horror movie in some fetid fucking parallel universe somewhere, except it's real life, as he popped up again on the 13th of December. And the spirits warned me that morning. It was potent. I already knew without knowing that I was about to have something very weird happen that day. Didn't even think it would be him, because I've sloughed him off finally. But sure enough, bing! Anyway, true love is eternal, and I'm waiting for my true love, my real love, my loving, faithful, loyal lover man to manifest in my life. I don't have time or energy to invest into lackluster, false, degenerate, destructive, evil, lost boys. I really don't. So I keep my true friends very precious and cherished indeed, and the rest that demonstrate that they're not trustworthy or not loyal or not loving, bye-bye, and no regrets. No regrets. Brecky wrote back, the exact conjunction is in about 12 hours, but with Uranus, same deal. The timing is unpredictable, so it could happen any moment. I replied, it's good to see I'm somewhat attuned to the movement of the spheres. The music of the spheres too. Although I had no idea that there was a conjunction. I just write when I get interesting, unexpected nudges from spirit or the supra natural. She replied, and I like to see if and how the movements of the planets work out. And I think Uranus in your own birth chart has an important placing. I have no idea. I replied, I can't remember. My mother Gisela had my chart done when I was 11 years old. It proved to be fairly accurate, but my mother did not like it, so demanded her money back, and called the lovely young male astrologer a charlatan, typical of her nasty narcissism. But he accurately predicted I would have difficulty with childbirth and sphincter muscles in my body. During labour, my cervix wouldn't open up, so they had to give me it's not oxytocin. Can't think of the word now. But they had to give me like fake semen that's got a hormone that opens your cervix up. And it was very, very fucking painful. It induced labour. It went from being a mild, kind of bearable period pain to my whole stomach felt like I was being slammed by a cement mixer vigorously every few seconds. Bang, bang, bang. And I was in so much distress and agony. They then had to give me an epidural, which with the first child wasn't administered properly, and I was almost fucking paralysed. So after delivering her, I was actually paralysed down my left leg for most of the day. And because I needed to pee, and because of my trauma issues and shame around defecating and pissing and sexuality and everything. Bear in mind, I was only 20 and a half when I delivered my eldest. I didn't know that you're supposed to pee in a bedpan and they're supposed to measure your output and look at, the blood and everything. I had no idea. It was my first baby. No one had told me this. So I got off the bed. This is the nature of my warrior goddess spirit. Completely lame, no feeling down my left leg. Managed to move my weight onto my right leg and hopped. To be honest, it was kind of crazy, to be honest. But I needed to pee, and it was urgent, and I wasn't going to pee the bed, and I wasn't going to ask for yet another nurse to come and help me because it was such a difficult fucking birth. I was kind of over nurses and doctors already by that stage. It was awful. So anyway, I hopped on one leg. My Māori friend Tanya even said, "What are you doing, Tanya?" I went, "Got to piss." "Do you think that's a good idea?" she said. I said, "Probably not, but I got to piss, and I got to piss on my own terms." "Okay, Tanya," she said, because neither of us are educated in midwifery. Didn't realise how fucking dangerous it was. So anyway, Mama T, who at that time hadn't begun to name herself Mama T, by the way, that only happened in my 40s. Anyway, the Tanya, the determined one, hopped on one leg to the bathroom. I managed to hold on to the side handles near the toilet, and I managed to lower myself to the toilet seat, and I managed to pee. Oh, dear goddess, and the blood that came out with that urine flow. Well, of course, I didn't realise in my naivety that 9 months of not having periods has to come out somewhere. Had not realised that you literally piss 9 months worth of blood out. Sorry, boys, if you're listening to this, but this is real life. This is what all your mothers went through to bring you into this world. So you need to respect your mother, number one, even if she might have been an arsehole like my mother was. You need to respect the birthing process, what they all went through to bring you into this world. You need to love and respect your wives, sweethearts, potential lovers more. and your sisters and your cousins and all women. It's fucking intense and miraculous what we go through to bring you onto this planet alive and then grow you up as well. Some of us did shitty jobs, but we tried. We tried, however shitty it was. And anyway, so I'm sitting on this fucking toilet bowl, freaking out about how much blood is pouring into the bowl along with my, urine. So anyway, I complete that task and I try to get up. So I managed, this is after, cleaning myself up, of course. So then I get up, I stand up, but unwittingly or accidentally, I put too much weight on my lame left leg. So I collapsed because I had no feeling in it. Down I went like a fucking ton of bricks on the bathroom floor. And because I fell involuntarily, there was more blood freaking splattered out. Oh, dear goddess. It was so deeply humiliating for me. Like, you can't imagine how humiliating it was for me. I had taken myself to the toilet to try to avoid that level of deep fucking vulnerability, fragility, and humiliation. So I'm lying on the fucking floor of the toilet, the bathroom. I couldn't get up. I couldn't actually get up because I'd summoned the strength to get myself there, but I didn't know how I was going to get myself back to my bed, am I right? Anyway, I kind of lay there for a while and I thought if I call the nurse, they're going to know that I took myself to the toilet. It's going to be a fight. And so anyway, I managed somehow to drag I reached up to the, the handles they have in hospital toilets. Thanks for that, by the way. And I dragged myself up on my good leg, my right leg, and I don't even know how I did it now. It wasn't easy. I got myself up and then I hopped on my right leg back to the hospital bed, threw myself into the bed, utterly fucking wrecked and exhausted. Anyway, a bit later on, about an hour or so later, the nurse or midwife comes in and she says, she had a bedpan with her. She says, "Oh, do you need to pee yet?" I said, "Yeah, I've peed." She said, "What do you mean?" I went, "I've been to the bathroom." She says, "But you need to pee in this pan. We need to measure the blood and the output, and it's very important." And I went, "Well, you can't. I've done it. It's in the toilet bowl, flushed." And of course, then she starts yelling at me, "How did you do that?" I went, Tanya, who was hellishly proud of my strength, my mana, because we had no idea, young women, just had our first baby, She yells out, "She hopped on one fucking leg there and one fucking leg back, and she even fell on the floor." I went, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. There's blood everywhere. Someone will have to clean it." "What?" So off they went. I went, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm really embarrassed, but I got myself back to bed." The nurse just looked at me like I was some kind of alien. Am I right? Maybe I am part alien. I refuse to submit to other people's fucking control dramas though, even as a 20-year-old. I'd been through enough throughout my childhood. I wasn't going to be debased and humiliated when I've given birth to my own progeny. And they fought me quite a bit. They fought me so much in that hospital. My mother came and said, "The nurses tell me you've been a right bollocking little bitch and that you're fighting them all the time." I said, "No, Mum, I never started a fight in my entire life, but I finish every last motherfucking one. I said, I'm not fighting them. I said, they're coming in and being bitchy and nasty to me because they can't handle that I took my own life in my own control and got myself to a fucking toilet, and that I was actually paralysed. And by the way, I should not have been paralysed. And what if it had been permanent? I said, they almost fucking killed me, Mum, but now they fight me because they know it was actually medical negligence. I said, I should sue the asses off them, by the way. Well, my mother said something about how she should hit me or some shit. I said, just get away from me. Just go. Like, you're never on my side. You're never supportive. You're never loving. Just go home, Mum. You know, she actually did. She was evil, my mother. She used to wait till I was at my most weakened and vulnerable and ill, and she'd do things like that. When I had my second baby, Jasmine, who was my little surprise package, right? Wasn't planned, our little Jasmine. I call her the celebration baby. I found out I was pregnant with her on my husband's birthday. My due date with her was the 11th of April, which is the day before my birthday. And then she was a month overdue, so she didn't arrive until the 10th of May, which that year in 1987 fell on Mother's Day. Oh, now that particular entity is estranged to me and hates my guts, but she was a celebration baby. Anyway, when she was born, I did indeed celebrate. I still had to have an epidural, and it was still a very difficult birth, and my cervix still did not do its usual sphincter muscle job that it's supposed to fucking do. The same problem with reflux with the sphincter muscle at the top of my stomach, by the way, and no doubt I have other problems with other sphincter muscles, like this ongoing problem with my bladder. Hello, that astrologer got that completely right. Anyway, when Jasmine was born, she was a month overdue. Her skin was all peeling off because they'd let me cook for too fucking long. Didn't induce her for a month. And she had a bright orange little baby, beautiful, perfect little bright orange nose. That was bright orange because she had jaundice. So she had to be put under heat lamps to try and, I don't know what the heat lamps are supposed to do actually. But anyway, it was for a fucking jaundice. But anyway, prior to that, she'd just been born, right? And she was a weird looking kid because of the bright orange nose and, you know, the peeling skin and jet black hair. She looked the image of my father-in-law who had died in 1984. So my husband took one look at my little infant baby and burst into tears with the shock of it, because she was like a little miniature Harry. I should have called her Harriet. I wanted to call her Harriet actually. My mother and my husband wouldn't let me because they completely controlled me and they were vicious. But she was a little Harry, absolutely. But she didn't have his love for me that he had, my father-in-law. She was an angry baby. She had a lot of colic and was ill a lot. And she was angry and bitter. She barely ever smiled, and I don't know what went wrong with that child, that birth and that soul essence. But she loved me dearly until she was about 7 or 8. And then we divorced. I divorced her father when she was 7. Well, I had no choice. He was monstrous towards us. Absolutely cruel and monstrous. And not so much physically, but emotionally. So anyway, all love for me died then. She began to hate me from the age of 7 or 8. And by the time she was 12, 13, wow, she really fucking hated me, and I still fought to hold on to this deep love I had for my own child, because that's what mothers do, until she got to about 19, and it got too much even for my spirit. I said, get out of my house, go and live your best life. Just stay the fuck away from me. It was just too toxic, all of it. And anyway, there's fault on both sides. You know, I wasn't the most ideal mother because I was very, very mentally traumatised and unwell during much of their childhood, from the ages of 7 and 9, because of the strangulation and the deep poverty I was thrown into, the constant vicious attacks by my husband and my mother, and later her new boyfriend that she later married, that fucking con man Buck Shearer, and all his henchmen, Gila and Terry, Rosalie and Rosalio and David. There was 12 of them attacking me at any given fucking moment in time, all through from 1995 right up to about 2001, when I finally got away from most of them. It was that fucking evil. But anyway, what was I saying about my baby being born with the orange nose and the peeling skin was my vicious mother. My husband goes to get my vicious mother to come and meet her third granddaughter, and she walks in, takes one look at baby Jasmine and says, the kid looks like she's retarded. I said, get the fuck out of here, Mum. Just get out. Oh, what do you mean? What are you so upset about? I said, my baby nearly hit the hospital floor because at the point of delivering her, when she was crowned, crown means the head was right there, you know, about to be born, right at the front of the vulva, right, ready to push through. So I said, at the point of being crowning, I got an urge to vomit. So I turned to vomit involuntarily, and by vomiting, I pushed her out. She went flying across the hospital room, you know, the delivery room. And I said, my female midwife who played netball, and my female medical student, and my female doctor, I said, all three of them, I look up from vomiting and they had their arms up in the air like this, reaching up. And I go, what just happened? Because I could see they were holding my baby. And the midwife turns to me and said, don't worry, I caught her. She's a bit frickin' slippery, she said, but I play netball. And I'm just looking in shock. Next thing I know, my doctor slaps my midwife across the face, because she's also kind of in shock, but she hit her for saying to me that don't worry, I play netball. But I wasn't the least bit offended. Like in that instance, that was a handy skill to have, knowing how to catch a slippery, slimy baby that's been pushed out unexpectedly mid-fucking flight, am I right? So anyway, my doctor takes Jasmine and they spend some time examining her. And anyway, they swaddle her, they put her on my belly. And they're busy, I don't know what they were doing, fluffing about, probably still a bit in shock, quite frankly. It was that close. She could have been hurled and smashed the floor and been very badly harmed or died. It was that close. Anyway, so Jasmine's on my belly, bonding with me, which is the normal way of, you know, post-delivery mothers are supposed to do with their newborns. But I noticed that she was going bluer and bluer and bluer, and I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, this doesn't look good. So I yell out, hey, I said, the kid's turning blue. You need to do something now. So they rush over, they take one look at my Jasmine and they go, oh my God. And they rush her back and they actually gave her oxygen and, were making sure she's okay and giving her oxygen, which she fucking desperately needed, by the way. And I said, what happened? And the midwife said, oh, well, when I caught her, the cord was wrapped around her throat, and so that must have been just enough to partially, choke her. And she said, I pushed my finger up between the cord and her little neck, so she could breathe. But she said, I must have not been quite quick enough, and there must have been still a bit of like a choking happening, and that's why she's turning blue. So, Jasmine, my Jasmine who hates me now, what it is, had a bit of a rough start to life in those first few moments. Anyway, they gave her oxygen and gave her back into my arms, and I actually put her to my breast and fed her, and she fed gustily and voraciously and took to the breast straight away, and we bonded beautifully, and I was so grateful because Crystal had been a terrible feeder. It took Crystal 3 days to finally accept my breast and drink, life-sustaining, nourishing, milk and what's the other, colostrum, took her 3 days. But Jasmine was eating gustily, with great gusto and need to survive and thrive from my breast. And it's kind of ironic because in adult life or later on in childhood, Crystal and Jasmine are the complete opposites. Crystal is the one who, like me, loves food and is a gastronomic, passionate about her food, and Jasmine doesn't really fucking eat much. It's complete opposite of how they were as newborns. It's a bit weird, actually. But anyway, I've digressed, but I wanted to tell you the story about how vicious my fucking mother was, even when, to her own grandchildren, who she'd just met, instead of being all earth mother and nurturing and welcoming her grandchildren into this world and holding them and being loving, looks retarded, and just being a total fucking bitch, am I right? Anyway, life goes on. My mother's dead. She can't hurt us anymore. But the ongoing fucking intergenerational trauma has meant I'm estranged from both my daughters now, and I'll never have grandchildren because of this. And I'm bitter about it. And I'm allowed to be a bit angry and bitter about it, since the only reason I had babies as a young woman was with a view to a long distant future, this time when I actually thought, even 10 years ago, I thought I might be a grandmother, and I've been robbed of my progeny, and I'm angry and I'm bitter about it, and rightfully so, rightfully fucking so. Anyway, I continue writing about that wonderful astrologer. He was a very kind man. I remember him vividly to this day. He sat on our couch in our apartment. It was 10. The apartment was number 10, not 11, I said in another video, in Elwood. 10, 13 Milton Street, Elwood, where we lived with Uncle Case when we moved to Elwood about a year after arriving here in 1973. So we lived in that apartment from 1974 till the end of 1975, when I came back to Wellington, New Zealand, to attend Wellington Girls College. Now that can't be right. It was 1977 when I started at Wellington Girls College. No, that's not right either. It was 1978. So 74 we were living in Elstonwick. 75, 76, 77 we must have been living in that apartment in Elwood. And then I came back, 1978 to start high school at Wellington Girls College. Yeah, that's correct. But yeah, the apartment was number 10. Anyway, I remember vividly being 11 years old when she got that chart done. So it was 1976 when she got that astrological chart done. And she was just such a cow to that man, but he was a lovely man. He sat on it, because at that time of my life, I was used to sexual predators, of men being slimy and sleazy and inappropriate. And even then, my mother left me alone with this man. She just had no regard for my safety or body autonomy ever, not even at that point in time when I was 11 years old. Like, she really was a fucking asshole. So I remember vividly her leaving me alone with this strange man, didn't know him. On the couch we sat, and he just looked at me. He watched my mother leave the room, and I could see him thinking. I could actually see it across his face, like, where's she going? Why is she leaving us? I could actually see him thinking that. Anyway, I sat there very calmly. And he asked me quite a few questions, actually. So he could not have known by the questions he asked me, though, about my difficulty with childbirth and sphincter muscles. But he must have tapped into a little bit more by asking me a few questions. And I had the distinct feeling, I really did, that he knew that I was a survivor of child sexual abuse. I just had that distinct feeling, like he didn't say anything, but he just really studied me. And I think he could see that even at 11 years of age, I was traumatized. You know, sitting on the couch with him, being very closed and contained, but politely answering his questions. I think he got a feel for that. Anyway, he was a gentleman and a lovely man. Here I continue on. The only thing he could not pinpoint was a career, which even that was accurate, as I don't have one, although I did have my own business with my husband in the 90s for 5 years till I left that marriage. But, I wouldn't consider that a career. It was just our business, But he was a kind man, and I was actually upset and angry with my mother for demanding the money back after all his work, because I read the chart, and even at 11 years of age, I said, well, it's actually quite accurate. It's got my personality quite accurately. No, my mother said, no, it hasn't pinpointed your career. He hasn't got to the facts of anything, and I want my money back. I'm going to demand my money back. Oh, she was an evil fucking thing. She really was quite evil. But, oh well, I survived her. I hope that lovely man, that astrologer, didn't give up doing doing astrology charts for people, because he was very talented and he did not deserve to be put down and castigated and delegitimized by my fucking arsehole mother. He really didn't. But then kind of neither did I. So it is what it is. My friend Brecky wrote, I would like to look at it sometime, meaning my astrological chart. And I replied, I will PM you the details. And my friend, who was a shaman, Michelle Citrine, wrote, hang on and let go. You'll be fine. Very wise, sage advice, given I had just said I feel I'm on the cusp of something, some kind of breakthrough. No idea what it is. I pray to all the gods that it is something good. So he wisely said, hang on and let go, you'll be fine, meaning just ride through whatever it is, good, bad or indifferent. Am I right? 2020, what a ride. I don't know why my cough started to flare up. Jesus, it's very annoying. Have you noticed that it often flares up whenever I talk about my asshole mother or my ex-husband or former lovers that tried to kill me? It's like almost a body somatizing reaction in my body. I've become more and more conscious of that in recent weeks. I'm thinking, yes, hadn't noticed that so much before, but it's getting more and more prevalent. Anyway, they tried to kill me, I won, and now I make YouTube videos expressing my lived experiences and my trauma processing and my very profound and valuable truth for the edification of those of you who might gain some comfort or some encouragement or some motivation or inspiration from my sharing my true stories, so that you know that you can survive almost anything except your own death, which comes to us all eventually. But even then, my darlings, you will survive as spirits into the next dimension. There is no beginning and there is no end. It's just a constant cycle. But in this body, in this incarnation, the you that is you inside of you and the me that is me inside of me, we will fight for our body autonomy, our lives, our souls, our spirits, our right to freedom and happiness and joy and truest, deepest love and even better health if we can manifest it. Because in each incarnation, it is our soul's journey and our soul's work to gain knowledge and grow and be and love and be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. So don't sell yourself out, don't betray yourself, and don't give in to abusers, no matter how they manifest. Some, as in my own life, came to me as mothers and fathers and stepfathers and de facto stepfathers and sisters and teachers and lovers, husbands, brothers and sisters-in-law. They were legion. They were so fucking legion. And here I am, deifying, living my best life in spite of all of them, the false friends and the fake lovers and my own fucking society across the globe that went into lockstep to try and depopulate all of us when I'd already suffered for decades from worse monstrosities than most of those morons could even have dreamed of. Which is why I said no. 30th of April 2019. Remember what you must do when they undervalue you, when they think your softness is your weakness, when they treat your kindness like it is their advantage. You awaken every dragon, every wolf, every monster that sleeps inside you, and you remind them what hell looks like when it wears the skin of a gentle human. And I don't have the author of that poem. So whoever you are, much gratitude to you, my darling. That is exactly how it is, at least in my life. And as far as gentle humans go, and no, I'm not always gentle, do not conflagrate my fury by abusing me or others in my sight. Here is my beautiful little Beauregard, my baby boy. Here's another shot of him. He's giving me kisses, which was kind of like smothering me at the same time. Smothery kisses. He's the only living entity that I ever allow to smother me, by the way. I hate being fucking smothered. But Bobo did it with panache and true heartfelt love. So he had a few privileges that no other living entity in my life is permitted. Here he is, looking up at Mama. Today I bathed Beauregard. I gave his face a little trim, also his tuchus, that means his bottom. I managed to clip his nails under great sufferance. He even bit me, but he looks like a lovely, clean, handsome dog now. I had a shower myself and washed my hair. I know I'm not well at the moment. I'm having to wash my hair every second day and it's so lank and oily, and I've just washed it and it's nice and clean, but by tomorrow it'll be lank and oily again. I don't know what the illness is. It sort of started around about Thursday that I had this pain in my liver, so, you know. It's funny that my beautiful friend on Saturday was worried about my moshing. Perhaps he intuited that I wasn't already all that well, and maybe that's why he was so worried about me causing further damage. But I'm never well. I haven't been well since very early childhood, you know. I nearly died when I was 4 of whooping cough and measles, and I nearly died again around 5 or 6 in the hot pools at Rotorua of bacterial meningitis. Actually, I came very close to death that time too. I broke my wrist when I was 7 at a health camp that I was placed in, basically because my lungs were so bad with constant bronchitis. The government intervened and put me in a fucking health camp. Came back with a busted arm. Mind you, the government didn't think to intervene about the pedophilia and the sexual abuse that was going on between the ages of 6 and 8. Fuckers. They must have had some kind of vague idea, though, to remove me and put me in a health camp. What happens with this little bugger lugs? I break my wrist there and get sent back home. Another fail. Oh. There were a few times, there were 2 occasions I almost drowned during my childhood. One, I was about 4, my father, I remember it vividly. He was swirling me in a circle in the ocean, in the surf, swinging me around and around. It was great fun for a while, but I started taking in water, choking on the sea, and he didn't stop. He kept swirling me, and I actually thought, even though I was very little, didn't have the language for it, but I actually thought I was going to die then. And then there was another near drowning when I was, it must have been after I came back from Australia when I was 12 or 13, and I went to Lyell Bay with my friend Lynn and the Hodemaker boys who were all surfing, and I actually did almost drown, and Lynn actually swam out to me and pulled me up by my hair and dragged me out. But I remember sitting on the bottom with my ass on the sand, looking up and watching all these bubbles, which was my breath leaving me. It was kind of a really beautiful, poignant moment, actually, to be honest. Every time I've come close to death has been really peaceful and beautiful, you know. Even with the strangulations, there's this moment when you just reach acceptance and you just accept, the peace that overwhelms you. It kind of frightened them, my stranglers, when they saw this look of serenity just flow through me, like almost like the most beautiful garment had been placed around me. And wow, it's my angels, isn't it? It's my guardian angel. Must be very fucking potent and powerful, because those three men let go, got frightened and let go when they saw the look in my eyes of, here we are at last, it's over now. But no, it wasn't over. I'm still here, still fighting babies, every day in every way, with every breath, even with my purple, blue, grey, cyanotic lips from sleep apnea. I'm still fighting. I'll fight with every breath, every day in every way. I'll fight with words. I'll fight with songs that I sing when my bands are playing, so people can't hear me because I haven't exactly got a great singing voice. I'll fight with my dance. I'll fight with eating with gusto. Sometimes food that disagrees with me and makes me very fucking ill indeed, because I'm stubborn like that. I'll fight with how powerfully I love. I'll fight with my art that I create. I'll fight, well, I defy by cleaving to my gods, my goddesses, and the Fae, and the ancestors that love me, and my most powerful and supernal of all, creator of all that is, was, and ever shall be, the Holy One. I'll fight for my right to believe and receive and achieve, and sometimes grieve, sometimes perceive, and to love as deeply and as powerfully as I have ever loved, even in infancy. You can't take that away from me, mofos. As my friends in the band have a sticker, mofo is dead, in it. Mofo is also very much alive, and there's always another mofo to take the place of the last mofo that tried to destroy me. But it is what it is. Mama T keeps thriving no matter what, no matter who, no matter how, no matter when or where or why. There is no fucking why to it. It doesn't even make sense to me, quite frankly. But my guardian angels insisted I be here on this planet multitude of times, even when I was ready to go a multitude of times. So don't ever fuck with the Tanya. I'm a wonderful, loving, sincere, authentic, at times protective, wild woman, but don't fuck with me. I have something far more powerful beyond even my mortal understanding, or Scottish, let's say, ken, that I don't question. I just stay here for as long as they demand I stay on this earth, and I do my shamanic dance and my advocacy and my armchair activism and my fight for as long as there is breath in my nostrils and through my mouth and my body, feeding me with energy and life force and whatever peace I can clasp deep into my soul. And on it goes, and on it goes, until the time will ultimately come when I'm done in this incarnation. And it is what it is. It's the nature of reality as we know it. I continue on after mentioning I had showered and washed my hair and bathed the dog. I have felt very fatigued the past few days. I've not done much except watch TV and rest. I did manage to clean all the filters in the fish ponds yesterday. And rest is sometimes a form of fighting too, nurturing your own body, mind and spirit. Rest when you need to rest, that too is very, very valuable and important. 30th of April 2017, 3:33 a.m. Awesome night, thanks to Jenny and Karen who rocked out with me. Now in a hot bath, wondering how we did that all again, especially considering my exhaustion and asthma. Bloody Mustang Quay. Push myself beyond my limits. But we had fun, and that is what counts. Just woke up, let the dog out for his morning ablutions, brought Charlie into the kitchen from the spare room, only to hear a croaky, struggling sound of a very young man who has found his voice. My little silky cock supreme and his crow. Oh my God, so cute. It had to happen, but he is only 5 months old. Roosters grow up so quickly these days. I am a proud mama. I wonder if my neighbours will accept his verbiage. They didn't. They made me get rid of him, the cunts, but he wasn't that loud. This is how loud he was, right? He'd sit there and he'd fluff himself up and he'd lift his head up. As Scott reminds me, I must stretch my neck. He'd lift his head up and he'd go, ooh, 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 ooh. And it was no louder than that. But they really were arseholes, all of them. It was nasty. Anyway, next door there is a loud bleating from the sheep. Maybe that set him off? We got the puberty blues again. Anyway, I miss that rooster. His name was Mischief, and he was one of the greatest loves of my life. I was devastated when the Brisbane City Council made me get rid of him. It was just nasty. One little, tiny little rooster, for the love of all the gods. Fucking it's sick, our society that we live in. So anti-nature, and they're so fucking evil and sick. Look at this grey neighbourhood. They're all dead inside. Dead, I tell you. Oh, wait. No, I'm not going to change my language. That's how they are, soulless and empty and voided out with their grey and their ugliness. It's a beautiful sunny day with beautiful white fluffy clouds. Look at it. Look how gorgeous it is. And then pan down and yuck. It's just yuck, I tell you. Yuck. Anyway, I wonder if my neighbours will accept his... Oh, I've read that, sorry. Beauregard was fascinated with the new sounds cascading from Elphaba's chickeny lips. Elphaba was one of the hens, and she'd do this like loud squawking when she laid an egg. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's a wrong rooster. I had 2 roosters at one time. I mean Alfie, damn it. Alfie, my Elphaba, is all boy now. Mischief must have been the one that came along later. That's right. Elphaba was this beautiful black silky rooster, and who I thought was a hen, and Mischief, who I had a fairly good idea was going to be a rooster even at a younger age, was white. Oh, he was beautiful. Anyway, I'm wasted in this fucking anti-humanist, dead in the soul fucking suburbia. But I can't afford to buy land anywhere, and I'll never own my own house again. So I just have to live here until I die, am I right? It's kind of sad at times if I let it get to me. I try not to let it get to me. I have a beautiful garden and a beautiful home, and I'm blessed. But fuck the people that hated my beautiful little chooks. Charlie is not the only cock on the block. I suspect 5 hens are feeling rather smug now. They might even get laid. Which if they got laid, they laid eggs, am I right? Fertilised eggs, which was how we got Mischief. He was one of our own homegrown fertilised little eggs. Of course, you can't control from an egg if it's going to be a boy or a girl, which is why I was even more distraught when they made me get rid of him, because I'd had him since he was a little tiny chick. My Romanian neighbour, who's dead now, calls me over to show off his 2 sheep. Yes, 2. Very cute. He says the male is due to be slaughtered, but he is keeping the female. I feel for the male sheep, but then I am a hypocrite as I still eat meat. Just draw the line at eating my pets. He is looking at getting a beehive, the same man I once bollocked for putting down poison and killing our bees, which he now denies and blames the council. I told him I want a hive too, but I get plenty of native bees drinking out of my fish pond. He said, "What? I had no fruit for 2 years, no bees." I said, "Well, if you don't poison them, they come to your garden and pollinate. Weird science, ha!" But the council is constantly spraying herbicides in the forest behind me. So I guess I'm lucky to have the native bees at least. Grateful to Lynn, who talked me down from one of my turbulent mood swings where I feel like I was to just scream and scream, but can't safely vent without scaring people. I am blessed to have such strong support from my friends who validate me and understand me in a way that is truly life-enhancing. Thanks, sweetheart. Kiss. Watching 7 Years in Tibet. Good movie. I made an aloe vera spray for Charlie as he is still plucking out his feathers, even though I've been giving him vitamins in his water. All these years later, she still does it too. Anyway, I've never been able to get her to stop that, so it's just a lost cause, really. Bobo got hold, how, of the spraying parts, so I had to get one off another bottle. He also got hold of my tights, which are now bitten through. Annoying. The sprayer I replaced on the bottle wouldn't spray. The gel was too thick, I suppose. So in desperation, I just put some of the liquid in my hands and gently dabbed it on him. He was not impressed and tried to bite me, but I am determined to get him well again. No, it was a lost cause getting Charlie to keep her feathers. Back then I thought she was a boy, until she laid an egg at the end of 2020. I love that photo. It's how I feel every fucking morning. Me, 3 a.m, after dancing all night, trumped up in my corset and stilettos like a faded teenager on Jack Daniels and stomach acid. I love my second childhood, my last hurrah, but my lifestyle is killing me. I said that in 2017, and here I am, 2024, my lifestyle's still killing me, but I haven't died yet, and I'm living my best life. So, there is that. 30th of April 2016. I have bathed Bobo. He tried to savagely bite me several times, but the wee bastard is clean. Physically, lol. I have fed the hens, still tired from last night's dancing, and I only woke up at 3 p.m. What to do? Contemplate dancing more or resting? Storm coming, which very likely means I will be out in the dangerous wildness and electron-charged madness to weave my magic spell again on my aging body. Not so charming when I stagger home crippled with pain. So, you see, I've been doing this a long time, 13 years. Even though it causes me pain at times, including from washing my neck. Oh well. The silence is screaming. Energy is building as a storm approaches. The calm before the storm has my ears ringing. And my friend Julie Goddard, who is a psychic, also wrote, "My ears have been ringing since yesterday. Something gonna happen." And my friend Catherine Holdsworth, who's also, I think, quite gifted psychically and is a marvellous poet, wrote, "Wanting it to rain for my garden." And my friend Jared Nielsen, who is a pagan and also a gifted psychic and artist. Love you, Jared. I give him hell sometimes too. We've been friends a long time. We wind each other up a bit, but I do love him. There was a 2-minute fine misting on my second walk, which dried up and amounted to nothing. But we were all feeling this shift in the weather and the energy. It was very potent. 30th of April 2015. 6:55 p.m. Gotta go out. It is pissing rain, but the Tanya needs to fly. Might check out Bunnings. S-hooks. Hung up my copper pots in the kitchen windows. Awesome. I've been there ever since too. My house is actually quite tiny, so I've had to be very creative with how I store everything because I have a lot of stuff and I had to declutter a lot, but I've reached the point where I've got it all sorted now exactly how I love it and it feels good, but there was a lot of wrangling to get everything stored and stashed and displayed how I want it. So, still in 2015, Just Melvin, Just Evil, classic documentary about abuse. And I wrote, trigger warning. Hello, Mr. Crow. Sitting out on the power line, piece of bread in his mouth. In his beak. He's beautiful. Trigger warning. My heart goes out to all those girls doomed to a life of trauma and poverty like me. I wish to hell they had shot the evil bastard. I wish to hell I had been able to get natural justice in my own family. I wish to hell we'd figured out where that fucking brake line was and cut it, but then we might have been responsible for the deaths of innocents as well, so it's probably good we never worked that out when I was 7, but I completely understand why child survivors of sexual abuse sometimes murder people. It's completely understandable given their life circumstances and what they're living through. I'm so proud of those women for surviving. I am indeed. I'm proud of me for surviving too, although some days are dark and I don't feel well and I'm struggling, but I live for the happy times, the joyous times, the loving times, the kind times, the respectful, honouring times. I woke up at 3:49 p.m. This morning I had trouble sleeping even with 100 milligrams Seroquel on board. I am loath to increase the dose. I lay awake until nearly 7 a.m. If my leg hadn't been so sore, which is interestingly, I had a few years with that left leg that was once paralysed during post-delivery of my eldest, would just collapse out from under me. I don't even know what that was about. Some kind of nerve pain, nerve being pinched or something. It was a very painful time in my life. I could have gotten up and done housework or something. Such a waste to lie in bed with a fertile mind. I was so tired though, body tired. Even my eyes hurt. I do believe menopause is killing me. It has me all fired up with nowhere to go, damn it. Wow, I seem to have even survived menopause at 59 years of age, although it's probably not completely over yet, but I didn't have the demarcation line of the ending of the periods because I had my hysterectomy when I was 42, long before my periods had completely ended. So yeah, there's no feeling of when menopause will end for me. Although my friend Robin said to me that you still get hot flushes no matter how old you are, even into your 70s and 80s. I was like, what? They never told me that. I was under the impression that around about your late 50s or 60s the hot flushes go away, but apparently not. So there you are, mature age women. If you're still flushing, you're not crazy, it does continue. What a shock that was to my system. Anyway, I guess it's different for each individual woman though. Like some might not get it so badly and others are still flushing into our older age. 30th of April 2014. Feeling stressed as I'm gearing up for my gastroscopy tomorrow, and Crystal is not keen on keeping an eye on me overnight after the procedure. Thanks for looking after me, by the way, you ignoble fucking things. Anyway, I hope I don't rupture my stomach. I guess I'm worrying for nothing. I've managed on my own before after more serious surgery. It just kind of sucks that I feel I can't rely on her to be there for me when serious shit goes down. She's just not available to me. Let's be real here. At least she's going to see, upset myself about a family member. The coughing starts. At least she is going to drive me in and pick me up. So that is a big help. I think I need to go to a soma specialist to try and heal that. That's not good, man. That's not good. 30th of April 2011. I slept over last night at Gail's house so we could watch the royal wedding. Bella and I enjoyed Gail's comfortable bed. Then in the afternoon, I attended my neighbour's 1-year-old birthday party and naming ceremony, which was lovely. Then Gail came back later on to my place for a cup of tea and a glass of wine. I also managed to find time to plant the strawberry suckers from Lynn. A nice day. 30th of April 2009. I have to spend the whole next month looking like a deformed Bugs Bunny. I really, really hate the dental hospital at South Brisbane. He gave me, I'd had 2 front crowns, and he said, I'll give you the Rolls Royce of crowns, and he made this giant fucking tooth that came down to here. I looked awful. They used to do that, I think. I think they thought it was funny to humiliate me, make me walk around with awful teeth. And these two, that is an implant and that is a crown, cost me $10,000, and even they're not, look, they're not even fucking even, look. Another fucking con man. So you can imagine why you mention a dentist or a doctor to me, I freak the fuck out now. There's been so much malfeasance done to me. You know, it's just all beyond awful. But anyway, I have one doctor who has my back. He may not after my little acting out fiasco last session, but anyway, I'm due to see him again tomorrow, and he is a good man, and I know he has always had my back. So I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for you, Brian, and the only doctor that I could absolutely trust, by the way, and thank the gods for that one. And yes, and so thus concludes today's readings of Even Date. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to go out and spend some time with my Charlie, and kind of hungry, so I really need to get something for lunch. Maybe I'll go out and get something. I feel like something yummy. But then I kind of have to be cautious because I was very ill yesterday. Very, very ill. Even when we were at Wynnum Beach, I was quite ill. So, yeah, not sure what's going on with me there. It was a bit intense. But I'm grateful that I feel slightly better today. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll be, you know, back to my usual, below subpar self, but my usual self. It's not good when I spiral under so dramatically as I did with my gut yesterday. Holy macaroni. And yes, anyway, life goes on. Life is beautiful. Be in it. Hold on to it. Stay true like glue. Love the ones who love you back in truth and in honour and integrity and sweetness and joy and peace, and live your best life. Bye for now, my darlings, from Sacred Space. at Titania's realm. Goddess bless always. And if the God and Goddess don't bless you always, be thine own innate divine deity and bless yourself and nurture yourself and love yourself enough to get yourself through whatever high strangeness is around you at any given moment in time, and enjoy the times that are peaceful and loving and good, and be constantly in preparation and awareness for the times that are not so good and even fucking awful. Yin and yang. Rejoice in the good and be ready to go to war when it's bad, my loves. Bye for now. Take good care.